Feeling cool in San Francisco. We're back by the Bay, looking to make it 2 straight wins over the Giants. This D-backs team, which has equaled its best ever start, can clinch a 4th straight series win to open this season. Round 2 of the D-backs and the Giants on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from AT&T Park. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthew and Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs a chance to make it 2 straight over the Giants here in San Francisco, but tonight they'll be without their manager. Torey Lovullo has been suspended for tonight's game after what happened in St. Louis over the weekend. Torey got the call today from Joe Torre in the league office.
The staff was playing basketball today. It was between games 1 and 2. I got a text from Joe Torre to reach out to him as soon as I possibly could, so I did. And I talked to him from the Cal Berkeley baseball field and had a 10-15 minute conversation with him about the reason why I was suspended. And you know, I support that. I agree with it. I made some mistakes, and I'm passionate. And I do things because of that passion that might be done the wrong way, and I said the wrong things, and I think that led to the whole thing, and I have to serve the suspension, and I will do it.
What are some of your options then, given that you just outlined the areas where you can't be?
Yeah, I think there's pretty fine lines. I think you're allowed to be a spectator in the stands. I think you can go up into a suite and watch from a suite, and I think you could also go back to your hotel room and watch in the hotel room. So I haven't quite determined what I'm going to do, but I'd like to be around. I'm going to probably stay around. I haven't determined where I'll be here though.
He will be up in a suite with some D-backs front office staffers, and Bob, Jerry Narron runs the game from the dugout tonight.
Yeah, Robbie Hammock will serve as Jerry Narron's bench coach tonight. You never want to see a manager get suspended, but in a way I think it's a good thing. It allows the guys that are working under Torre, Jerry Narron, Robbie Hammock, some of those guys, to have a little more input since the skipper's going to be sitting up here with us.
Well, it'll be a fun game to watch either way. Patrick Corbin up against rookie Tyler Beatty making his major league debut. Back with more from San Francisco right after this. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. needs air conditioning and plumbing, choose Chaz. And by Jack in the Box, this season D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. Well, Patrick Corbin has been among the best in the business in his first 2 starts. He gets the baseball tonight for start number 3. And you'll see it coming up next on Fox Sports Arizona, the D-backs and the Giants.
Jody Jackson back with you just outside the Diamondbacks dugout. Once again, it is Patrick Corbin on the hill, looking to go 3-0 on the season. He's shown he's got incredible stuff so far this season, and I had a conversation with Patrick yesterday about the early success. He said, look, it is early. I don't want to get too caught up in the numbers. I'm just going out there trying to do my job. You see that last outing against the Dodgers, just fantastic. No-hit stuff. That's how everyone described that outing against LA on Wednesday back at Chase Field. So for Patrick, this year, it's always important for him to get ahead in the count, and he is particularly grateful for all the information he gets to try to get a good game plan going to make that first pitch strike a quality strike.
With all the catchers that I've thrown to here, just being able to come up with a good game plan and going out there and executing that is another story. So being able to do that the first couple is just something I want to just continue to get stronger at, work on my bullpens, and get ready for the rest of these starts.
You know, a lot of things have been written about your hot start, and you know, some people have said you look like you did prior to the surgery, or just the slider is that sharp. I mean, what are your thoughts when you hear that or see it written, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to continue to do the same thing. There's not much difference I'm going to have to do. Just try to make sure I'm prepared, ready to go each start, and that's the biggest thing, just getting your work done in between starts and getting ready for your next opponent.
A little different lineup here with McCutchen, Longoria. What are your thoughts on the additions to the Giants lineup?
Yeah, even last year I thought, they still had a good core of group of guys there, so they're going to be tough. They're a veteran team. They're going to have a good game plan against me. I just need to go out there, execute my pitches, and they're going to try and make it hard on me. I'm going to try and make it hard on them. So hopefully we come out on the right side of things.
McCutchen, Longoria, Austin Jackson leading off, another new face for these Giants. As Patrick Corbin, you can see the growing confidence in the arm, the confidence in the stuff. Again, he looks to go 3-0 on the young season. There he is warming up. He'll throw to Alex Avila today, and we've got first pitch coming your way in moments.
It's partly cloudy, 56 degrees. A little cool here tonight. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brentley, Jody Jackson with you. The second of a three-game series, the D-backs and the San Francisco Giants. And these 2018 D-backs have already matched their best ever start to this point, 8-2 through their first 10 games. Last time they did this was 10 years ago. And here's the lineup they'll have tonight. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
A little bit of a different look for Troy Lavello, or rather for Jerry Narin tonight. Gerard Dyson will lead it off out in right field. Cattell Marte at second base. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. A.J. Pollock will be out in center field. Alex Avila behind the plate tonight. Chris Owings out in right field. Daniel Descalso at third base. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. And lefty Patrick Corbin on the mound.
Giants going with a right-hander. That's 24-year-old Tyler Beede, about to make his major league debut, which, Bob, leads us into your Valley Honda dealer's key to the game.
Well, this ain't Inland Empire. That's the last start that Tyler Beede had was in A-ball. His start in AAA got rained out, so they bumped him down to A-ball to start against Inland Empire. He dominated 5 innings of 1 hit, 1 run ball in that game, but hey, this ain't Inland Empire.
Yeah, he was assigned to AAA Sacramento coming out of spring training, but they opened up in rain-soaked Tacoma, so he was sent to start for Class A San Jose last Thursday. What's it like when you're the manager and you can't manage your team? There's Jerry Narin, the bench coach, who was at the controls tonight.
I'm sure Troy Lavello feels the same way I did back in the day. I served a couple of suspensions, and yeah, I had full trust in Bob Melvin, Glenn Sherlock, Robin Yount, whoever the bench coach was that was taking over for me that particular night. I had no doubts that they knew exactly what needed to be done over the course of the ball game. I mean, there's not much Jerry Narin hasn't seen in this game, so he's not going to be caught by surprise by anything.
Yeah, Jerry certainly no stranger to running a big league ball club from the dugout. 5 years on the resume as a major league manager with both the Rangers and the Reds. And as you mentioned earlier, Robbie Hammock will be his right-hand man, manning the phone in the dugout and serving as bench coach for this one tonight. Torey Lavello is somewhere in the building. Torey told us before the game he planned on sitting in a suite with some of the D-backs front office staffers and eating a lot of garlic fries and sitting back and watching the game.
We'll just have to follow our noses. Trying to find Torey tonight. Yeah, Buster Posey talking over with his skipper Bruce Bochy. Tyler Beede, highly touted #1 pick back in the 2014 draft out of Vanderbilt. This is the 19th time in Diamondbacks history they're facing a starting pitcher making his major league debut.
And he's a little slow to get to the mound. A 7:15 first pitch. We're already well past that. And so all of San Francisco right now is waiting on the rookie right-hander. Jarrod Dyson will be the leadoff man. And here comes Tyler Beede. Giants' first-round pick in the draft 4 years ago out of Vanderbilt. And on the mound at AT&T Park for his major league debut. He's your Ram truck starter for the Giants tonight.
I mentioned he's from Vanderbilt University, has a full complement, 4-pitch pitcher, fastball, curve, slider, changeup. I mentioned the 19th time the D-backs have been facing a starter making his debut. Coincidentally, the guy that he's replacing in the rotation, Johnny Cueto. Diamondbacks faced him in his major league debut.
And Cueto was placed on the DL just before the game tonight. He's got a mild left ankle sprain. And so the Giants will start lefty Andrew Suarez tomorrow afternoon. He will also be making his major league debut. That's where the Giants are right now in terms of the rotation and the injuries.
And it's not out of the question, ask Brandon Webb, that Tyler Beede will make the start tonight and maybe get shipped right back to AAA after the ball game to make room for tomorrow's starter.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the Giants defense behind the rookie right-hander.
That's Andrew McCutchen. He's patrolling right field. Austin Jackson in center field tonight with Hunter Pence over in left. It'll be Evan Longoria and Brandon Crawford on the left side of the infield. Kelby Tomlinson and Brandon Belt on the right side. Buster Posey once again behind the plate tonight for the rookie making his major league debut, Tyler Beede.
Paul Nart behind the plate calling the balls and strikes for the umpires tonight. Scott Berry has first base, Carlos Torres at second, and the crew chief Kerwin Danley is at third.
Tyler Beede is obviously on Matt Garza time. Matt Garza's long career in the major leagues as a starting pitcher, and he was always 5, 8, 10 minutes behind start time. You didn't start until Matt was ready.
He started off on the wrong foot with you, I can tell you that. D-backs a chance tonight to clinch a 4th straight series win to begin a season for the first time ever. And Jarrod Dyson leads us off. Dyson in left field tonight. And I'd offer David Peralta. Jarrod 3 for 20 on the year. He has doubled and tripled. Light breeze blowing out to right center field over Triples Alley. But other than that, a pretty comfortable night here at the ballpark. Temps in the mid-50s. And finally, we are set to go in San Francisco.
There's a souvenir for young Tyler Beede. They threw that first pitch out of the ball game.
Tyler Beede is not a big strikeout pitcher. Low 90s fastball, a cutter, a curveball, and a marginal at best changeup, a pitch he's worked hard on this spring. His wife is an actress, Allie DeBerry. She is currently shooting a movie in Tucson, a Western, and had some scheduling hurdles to overcome, but Beede's parents and brother flew in to be here tonight. He's from Worcester, Massachusetts. That's right near Nick Ahmed country, Western Mass. Kelby Tomlinson slides on the outfield grass and retires Dyson to start us off. That'll bring up Ketel Marte. Marte hitting .220.
As you mentioned, Bert, a little cooler here tonight. The marine layer as it rolls in later this evening. There'll probably be some moisture on the field tonight as opposed to last night. It was just absolutely perfect conditions. The moisture on the field may become a factor later in the ball game, and those guys that can bunt, once again, this is a good ballpark to bunt in. Thick grass in the infield, occasionally damp.
D-backs have some speed in the lineup tonight, no doubt about it, with Dyson and Marte up top. Owings in the lineup. Nick Ahmed is a good bunter. Yeah, very comfortable here last night. A little more of a chill in the air here tonight. Beede behind 2-0. Ketel Marte singled, walked, and scored a run last night. He sits safely in 5 straight games. Goldie on deck. 1-out walk he missed with a fastball on 3-1, and here's Goldie. Paul Goldschmidt 4 for 34 this year. He's doubled and tripled. Can you panic a rookie in his major league debut if you start your runners on the bases around him?
You know he's hyper focused on Buster Posey's mitt back there behind the plate. You might be able to take advantage of that hyper focus early in the ball game. I'm sure that he'll settle in eventually and realize this is just what I've been doing all my life. 60 feet 6 inches, got to throw it over the plate. But yeah, you can rattle a young pitcher, give him a lot of things to think about out there on the mound, possibly make a mistake to the hitter.
Goldie had an RBI triple in the first inning last night. Came home on an A.J. Pollock fly ball, and that was all the D-backs scoring in a 2-1 win.
Boy, Goldie tomahawked a high fastball up and out over the plate. That was really good to see him drive a ball to that gap in right center field. Hoping that that might be the one that jump starts and gets him rolling.
Up the middle, that one trickles into center field. Marte stops at second. And Goldie has now hit safely in 4 of his last 5 games. Here's the cleanup man, A.J. Pollock. A.J. 316 with a home run. And as we mentioned, drove in what turned out to be the winning run with that RBI sac fly in his first plate appearance last night. Zach Godley made it stick.
Boy, he was just ridiculous last night. 20 swings and misses.
7 scoreless innings. He gave up only 4 hits, struck out 9. 2 on, 1 out for Pollock.
That was the 3rd highest total of swings and misses for any pitcher in the National League this year. Patrick Corbin had a start against the Dodgers where he had 21 swings and misses. Max Scherzer atop the list, 23.
Big secondary lead by Ketel Marte back there. He's making some noise behind Beatty. 1-1 on Pollock. Marte at second and Goldie at first. Of course, it's a Tuesday. That means it's a Teal Tuesday, and I think AJ went shopping with Ketel Marte for some shoes.
How about that?
Those are some kicks right there. I think those are mint chocolate chip. Boy, Marte is really dancing around behind Beatty. AJ fouls off a fastball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know how guys do it. I mean, I know the shoes nowadays break in a lot faster, but man, it used to be, it took you weeks to get a pair of cleats that fit your feet just right. And then you would wear them until the cleats were almost gone off the bottom of the shoe before you had to break in another pair. These guys pull them out of the box and wear them that night.
Got dozens to choose from. All got to be color coordinated. Even Goldie's got his teal cleats on. Tomlinson sneaking in at second. Marte is just back in time, says Carlos Torres down there. That was awfully close. Hensley Mullins, the bench coach.
Throw was right on the bag. Fortunately, Marte, as always, sliding to the backside of the bag, forcing Tomlinson to bring that ball all the way back to the backside of the base. And that might have been the difference in that play.
Still 1-2 on AJ. Tyler Beatty spent last year with AAA Sacramento, where he really struggled a bit, 6-7, an ERA near 5 in 19 starts. The Giants had a lost season last year. Would have called him up last September anyway, but Beatty had suffered a groin injury over the summer, and so he was not available. His major league debut had to wait until tonight. Fastball down and in. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Beatty was called up from the minors yesterday, placed in the Giants taxi squad, and it looked like he would make his first career start tomorrow, because the Giants initially pushed Johnny Cueto back another day and went with Beatty tonight, and now Cueto's on the DL. So Andrew Suarez goes tomorrow afternoon, left-hander. 2-2. Fastball misses down and away, and it's full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Alex Avila on deck.
Staff's been busy, partner. The Diamondbacks have the lowest percentage in the National League of pitches swung at. It seems like they've been very, very patient in the early going, taking their base on balls, working some deep counts, occasionally taking a called 3rd strike, but much more patient at bats, making sure they get pitches to hit, and when they swing at it, they've got the 2nd highest contact percentage in the National League.
Runners on the move on 3-2. AJ laces it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Marte is home. Goldie right behind. A 2-run double for AJ Pollock, and a quick 2-0 D-backs lead. That's AJ's 7th double. This is game number 11 on the year.
Man. Why stop at 1 when 2's so much more fun? Diamondbacks striking early once again tonight, 2 in the first against the young right-hander for the Giants. AJ with a nice quick swing. That pitch was off the plate inside, but still able to keep it fair down into the left field corner to spot the Diamondbacks to a 2-0 lead.
He's already got 7 doubles and a triple, AJ Pollock. Now with 9 RBIs on the year. Here's Avila. Once again, the D-backs put up some runs in the first inning. Here's another angle.
Yeah, you can see Longoria coming straight in and then turning to his right to cover the bag at 3rd, and AJ just whacked it right over his head down into the corner.
Well, as you said, this ain't Inland Empire. D-backs already 3.5 up on the rest of the National League West. Here's Avila. Alex 2 for 18 on the year. That was a great at bat by AJ Pollock. A 1-2 count, worked it to 7 pitches and turned it into a 2-run double. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. Tomlinson, the second baseman, back of the outfield grass. Pollock breaks for 3rd. Here's the throw. It's high, and AJ is in there. His 4th stolen base of the year. D-backs with their foot on the gas pedal here against Tyler Beatty.
Oh, great jump by AJ. Either he guessed right or he saw something in the delivery of Beatty that allowed him to break for 3rd base. Throw was a little bit high, allowing him to slide underneath with his 4th stolen base of the season.
The pressure is on the rookie right-hander, but he's ahead of Avila 0-2 with Chris Owings on deck. Whoa, Paul Nart way off the plate. Woo. That wasn't even close.
Paul Nart is a guy that's traditionally had what you would have to classify as a pitcher's strike zone. That last strike is a perfect example. Change up that just kind of faded off that outside corner. Buster Posey catches it on the inside line of the batter's box.
2 outs now. AJ at 3rd. And here's the red hot Chris Owings. It's the first pitch out to right center field. McCutchen is there, and Beatty strands Pollock, but the D-backs strike first. Patrick Corbin has an early 2-0 lead. for your Ram truck starter for the D-backs. It's Patrick Corbin. 28-year-old left-hander Patrick has been brilliant, a winner against the Rockies in his first ever opening day start. And then last Wednesday, a career-high 12 strikeouts. He beat the Dodgers.
13 innings pitched in his 2 starts this season, both victories. He's only walked 2 batters, struck out 20. Had a vicious slider his last time out against the Dodgers, nearly unhittable.
The slow slider, which is a new part of the repertoire, and the traditional hard slider. We'll see both tonight, certainly. One of the new Giants, Austin Jackson, the center fielder, leads it off. Caught the corner down and away. Jackson 5 for 25. He's hit safely in 3 straight games. Austin Jackson signed as a free agent by the Giants in January. Got a 2-year deal, the only big league offer he had, he said. And he's been the guy primarily out there in center field this year. And he dropped that one in front of A.J. Pollock, a leadoff single. Here's the lineup for the Giants. It's brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Center fielder Austin Jackson just led it off for the Giants with that soft base hit into center field. Brandon Belt, the first baseman, making his way to the plate now. He'll be followed by Andrew McCutchen in right field. Buster Posey behind the plate. Evan Longoria down at third base. Hunter Pence in left field. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. Kelby Tomlinson getting the start at second base. And rookie right-hander Tyler Beede on the mound.
As Jody mentioned in the pregame show, Brandon Belt and Brandon Crawford, the only lefties in the lineup against Corbin. D-backs have the shift on. Brandon Belt took the golden sombrero last night. 0 for 4. He punched out all 4 times. 250 with 1 home run this year.
You know, some nights you might be upset by striking out 4 times in a row, but as good as Zach Godley was last night, you get the feeling Brandon Belt could have had 50 at bats in the game and not touched Zach Godley.
He had plenty of company, that's for sure. Godley had 8 strikeouts by the end of the 4th inning last night. That's been an issue for Belt as of late. He has struck out 8 times in his last 15 at bats. Lays off a slider, 2 balls and 1 strike. Patrick in his win over LA last Wednesday, just masterful at mixing in that hard and slow slider. 12 strikeouts, 10 came with a slider. He retired the first 14 Dodgers he faced last week. That's a foul ball. That was awfully close. Scott Barry down at first.
There's some boos from the crowd, but none of the players on the field are arguing. That ball hooked down that right field line. Brandon Belt with a quick swing, especially against the left-hander. I think he turns it up an extra notch against those lefties to get to inside fastballs, which makes him susceptible to those breakers away.
Belt hit just .223 versus lefties last year. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So that thumb should be a pick move to first.
Whoa, Jackson was leaning the wrong way. Just does get back in time. Daniel Descalso, the third baseman, is lined up behind second base umpire Carlos Torres. Career numbers on the bases for Austin Jackson. Another strikeout for Brandon Belt, the first tonight for Patrick, 1 down. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond.
Patrick didn't need any defense in that at bat by Brandon Belt, but here's the way we're going to line them up tonight. Gerard Dyson in left field, A.J. Pollock in center, Chris Owings in right field. Descalso and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Marte and Goldschmidt on the right side, with Alex Avila doing the catching for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen 231 with a homer. He has started all 9 games in right field for the Giants this year. Hunter Pence has moved over to left. He started every game there.
You know, the 3 big additions for the Giants as far as position players in the offseason: Austin Jackson, Andrew McCutchen, and Evan Longoria. Between the 3 of them, they punched out 26 times and walked once.
The opposite of what you were just talking about with the D-backs.
The D-backs being very patient. Diamondbacks as a team have drawn 46 walks coming into play tonight. The Giants have drawn 17.
Jackson breaks for second. Here's the throw from Avila. Marte can't corral that, and Austin Jackson has his first stolen base of the year.
And no chance that time for Alex. Great jump over at first base by Austin Jackson. Slow delivery that time from Patrick Corbin. Throw did get by into shallow center field, but no chance for Jackson to advance on to third.
He's in scoring position. 2 balls, 1 strike on McCutchen, with Buster Posey the on-deck hitter. McCutchen last night 1 for 4. He singled and struck out twice. McCutchen had a 6-hit game against the Dodgers here Saturday, and he won it with that walk-off homer in the 14th inning. See the numbers on the Giants. Runners in scoring position, 8 for 67, the lowest mark of the majors. McCutchen, almost all his offense this year has come in that 6-hit game. If you throw out that 1 game, he's 3 for 32 this season. So the numbers are a little bit skewed. That appeared to catch the corner. Our K-zone showed it as a strike, but a little too far off the plate for Paul Nart. Full count 3-2.
As a matter of fact, the slider that Austin Jackson stole second base on was in the strike zone too, almost the same location.
Posey on deck. Full count on McCutchen with Jackson at second and 1 out. Tied him up inside with that slow breaking ball. Second strikeout for Patrick.
A little bit off of it. You can see the awkward attempt to check swing that time by Andrew McCutchen. That slider working in, just the barrel of the bat snapped out there in front of home plate.
2 down for Posey. 345 and a home run. Yeah, Bob, if you take the combined efforts of, as you called them, the 3 new guys, McCutchen, Longoria, and Jackson, they're hitting a combined 194 this year. Giants offense just cannot get going. They had scored 1 run or fewer in 6 of their first 9 games this year. That's fouled away, 1-1.
No surprise that this guy, pretty much the leader of the team in just about every way you can imagine. His 345 average, solid for the Giants as usual. But when Buster Posey's at the plate, many times this season he's come up with nobody on base.
Well, Posey singled twice last night. He's got a 7-game hit streak going. Jackson at second and 2 outs. 1-2. You'll see Patrick over the course of the ball game tonight change location and shape on that slider. You'll see the hard back foot slider to right-handers and the slower slider that looks like a curveball. Big difference in velocity between the two. That was it right there. 3 strikeouts for Corbin. He strands Jackson and keeps it 2-0 D-backs.
Once again, as we head to the top of the second, it's the top of the order. Jerry Narron, of course, today, the manager in the dugout, Robbie Hammock, the bench coach. Now, Torey Lovello is not happy about his 1-game suspension, but he feels very comfortable handing things off to Jerry. He said, look, we have a plan here. We have a strategy. The players know it. The coaches know it. We talk about it. And Jerry said, look, I've learned a lot from Torey. I wish that 17 years ago when I was managing, he said, you know, I would have relied on my coaches more. I would have been more collaborative. And he said that's what's great about this staff. They are all on the same page. They're very like-minded. Now, also, A.J. Pollock at the plate. We know he's off to a great start. Had the 2-run double right there today in the first inning. He's off to a great hot start this season, guys. He's trying to get the ball in the air more. That's not new. Really, around baseball, it's pretty common. Obviously, you're not looking for ground balls. You're looking to launch the ball more in the air. It's really working for him so far, as it is for many of the Diamondback hitters, guys.
Launch angle, Jody. Those are the two words we hear all the time. You're right. Everything's working for A.J. these days. His 2-run double in the first has made it 2-0. Here's Descalso, leads off the second against rookie Tyler Beatty. Daniel 4 for 24 this year with a homer. Popped out as a pinch hitter last night, and they're at third tonight. Carves this one toward the left field line. Long run for Pence, and it's in the bullpen. Major League debut, if you're just joining us, for right-hander Tyler Beatty. Wasn't named the starter for tonight's game until after last night's game. Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. There's the Giants defense against Descalso. Crawford, the shortstop, on the first base side of second. That misses away, and it's 3-1. Beatty, the Giants' first-round pick, the 14th overall selection in the 2014 draft out of Vanderbilt. Nick Ahmed on deck. Missed off the plate there. Second walk issued by Beatty. Leadoff man's aboard.
You know, partner, it's hard to find a lot of fault with what the Diamondbacks have done in the early going this season, but if you really want to nitpick, they've had some real issues at the bottom of the batting order. The 6 through 9 hitters in the last 4 ball games are a combined 6 for 53. That's a 113 batting average. Last Thursday, they were 3 for 13.
6 through 9, but all 3 of those were off the bat of Chris Owens. And it's been kind of a revolving door down there at the bottom of the order, depending on who's in the lineup on a given night, who's catching, who's playing right field. But you'd like to see a little more production out of the bottom.
And Nick has done very well down there, certainly, hitting .360. He leads the D-backs with 8 RBIs. At least he did before. A.J. Pollock now has 9 with that double in the first. And Mathis is down there. Jeff's been drawing some bases on balls. But yeah, you're right, Bob. For the most part, it's been a little quiet down there. Alex Avila's off to something of a slow start this year, as is Gerard Dyson, some of the new guys. Nick was 0 for 3 last night. He grounded out twice and struck out. That pitch is in there for a strike right at the knees, 1-1. Tyler Beatty, 24 years old, 6'3", 211. Beatty was drafted 21st overall in the first round in 2011, taken by the Blue Jays out of high school, Lawrence Academy in Massachusetts. So even out of high school, he was regarded as a first-round pick. But instead of signing with Toronto, went to Vanderbilt, won a national championship there, and was again a first-round pick, this time by the Giants. And it's interesting to read that, Bob, because his minor league track record is not particularly impressive. He doesn't seem to have dominant, overwhelming stuff. There's not one great pitch that stands out. And Bruce Bochy with all these injuries. Now add Cueto to the list. He's on the DL with an ankle problem. They've got rookies making their big league debuts tonight and again tomorrow with Suarez. They're, of course, already without Madison Bumgarner and Jeff Samardzija. Although Samardzija is close, there's a good chance we actually see Samardzija make his season debut at Chase Field next week.
Yeah, you know Jeff Samardzija getting close because he took batting practice today. He
favorite
loves to hit.
And he can hit. All kinds of problems in the rotation for the Giants to start the year. 2-2 on Nick. Reaches down and rolls one to Crawford. Tomlinson for 1, and they turn the double play behind Beatty. So suddenly he's got bases empty, 2 outs, and the pitcher Corbin is up. Although Patrick, as we saw last week against the Dodgers, can swing the bat 2 for 4.
They're not expecting Patrick Corbin to pull the ball. Andrew McCutchen playing in the gap in right center. Austin Jackson in center field, shaded way over in the gap in left center, and Hunter Pence guarding the third baseline.
Patrick in that start against LA last Wednesday at Chase Field. Doubled to left center and singled to center in his first 2 at-bats. Beatty had a 1-2.
You know, you asked me earlier, partner, if you could rattle a young pitcher with your running game, try to get him thinking about the runners and make mistakes to the hitters at plate. You think about guys coming out of the major programs. You've had the Vanderbilts and LSU and Cal State Fullerton. You know, especially if you're a Friday night starter, you're used to pitching big games in front of, you know, as big a crowd as you'll see in a college game. Sure. Then you go to the Arizona Fall League, maybe not big crowds, but you're facing some of the best talent in the game. So A lot of times these guys get to the major leagues and they've already had a taste of what it means to be a big league pitcher pitching in front of big crowds.
Well, he walked the pitcher. He's walked 3 of the first 9 he's faced. And Corbin's aboard for Gerard Dyson. Yeah, you're right. You go from the Friday night starter at Vanderbilt to starting in the Cal League at Inland Empire. It's going to look awful small compared to Nashville. Dyson grounded out to lead off the ball game. Routine day off for David Peralta today, Torey Lovello was telling us. Torey sticking with his plan of expanded and consistent rest over the course of a long year. And he likes to have what he calls his high energy players in the lineup for day games. So with a 12:45 start tomorrow, Peralta gets the night off tonight. He'll be back in there tomorrow afternoon, 12:45 start. Popped up first base side, Tomlinson has it. And Beatty's out in the inning. It's 2-0 Diamondbacks. Captain Sully.
Captain Sully.
I think it just started. I don't know why I would give guys heads up on when we were about to land.
Did they say Mathis gave him that nickname?
Yeah, he likes to keep the in-flight map up. We're back there playing cards, and he's always giving us updates on, how many miles we are from the next city and how long until we're on descent, and it gets annoying.
After a certain time in the air, we double the bets. And Corby's always on top of it. He's like, hey, guys, 30 minutes left, double. And it's like, all right, Sully, we get it. Like, you're in the cockpit. You know everything about the plane right now.
I have definitely been a witness to the, hey, guys, we're landed in an hour 30.
That was about when the Sully movie came out, so we just started calling him Captain Sully.
It just kind of stuck, I guess. So maybe I'll have to change my nickname to Sully on my jersey this year.
Captain Sully, Patrick Corbin gets a ground ball from Evan Longoria to start the bottom of the second inning. Yeah, he is, he's like the governor monitoring the weather for us. Patrick likes to monitor the flight times for the crew back there during the card games.
I think that's a valuable service to his teammates.
That's a valuable service for us, for the governor and the weather.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of fun shooting those in spring training. Our producers, Brad the Big Dog Weimer, Josh Kelman, putting those together for us. Hunter Pence, 0 for 3 last night. Pence hitting .219, a slow start for him. Only 1 extra base hit this year. Wind has picked up a bit. It's blowing out pretty hard to right center field, out toward the water out there, Triples Alley. Did you have a guy in your day who was a Captain Sully like that, monitoring the card games? And
not really. We did have a weatherman when I was in the minor league, Steve Sherman. His father, I believe, was a meteorologist, so he came by it honestly. But playing in the Midwest League, those thunderstorms that would blow through in the summertime, out of nowhere, he would stand out on the landing at the hotel looking up at the sky. Hey, Stretch, get back in your room. It's raining. He loved to watch those thunderstorms in the Midwest.
That's where the governor learned his trade.
I trust the governor a lot more than the local weatherman.
Well, as you say, he's the Tom Skilling of the National League West.
He's right on top of it.
1 and 2 on Hunter Pence. Patrick Corbin. Another strikeout. That's 4. He's punched out 4 of the last 5 Giants hitters. That'll bring up Brandon Crawford, the shortstop. Crawford, 242, 1 homer. He had a good night last night. He singled, doubled, and scored the Giants' only run.
Well, he made some really slick plays defensively at shortstop last night as well. Of course, we're used to seeing that from Brandon Crawford, whether he's swinging the bat well or not. That glove shows up every day.
3 straight gold gloves at shortstop in the National League. Funny, while he's doing that, he's been among their RBI leaders every year for the last few seasons. And Patrick's settling in now. He's jumped ahead 0-2.
Diamondbacks starting pitching this year in the National League ranks second only to the Washington Nationals in strikeouts per 9 innings. Nationals at 10.9, the Diamondbacks at 10.6 strikeouts per 9.
Patrick Corbin with a fastball. He has 5 strikeouts and a 2-0 lead. And a 2-0 lead in San Francisco. And D-backs fans, if you can't watch the games on TV, don't panic. You can stream them live on your mobile device. Use Fox Sports Go. It's presented locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the app for free. Take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Ketel Marte leads off the D-backs third against rookie right-hander Tyler Beede, making his major league debut. Marte walked and scored his first time up. D-backs with a 2-0 lead. A.J. Pollock, a 2-run double in the first. All the scoring so far. Beatty's walked 3 already. He's got 1 strikeout. 1 double play ball behind him.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, partner, that changeup is a work in progress for Beatty. He's tried to work it into the repertoire here. Buster Posey has called for it. He just hasn't been able to get it close enough to the strike zone to get some swings.
Yeah, it's lagged behind his other pitches. Fastball down and away is the strike, and it's 2-2. So he's mostly low 90s fastball, cutter, and curveball. Goldie on deck. He singled and scored in the first. Good check by Ketel Marte, and it's full 3-2. Buster Posey back there tonight. Ketel fights it off, hits it out to left for Pence. See a lot of teams trying to pitch Ketel Marte inside. That one was off the hands.
I think some of that has to do with what advanced scouts saw from Ketel Marte in spring training this year when he was slapping the ball to the opposite field, especially from the left side of the plate. If they tried to work him away, he was content to drive that ball out to left field.
Here's Goldie. Goldie chipping away. He's hit safely now in 4 of his last 5 games. So the progress has been incremental for him. .94 from Beatty, and it's 2-0. That's about his max. Boy, he's just spraying it around all over the yard here. 3-0. Pollock with a 2-run double on deck. All 4. That's his 4th walk already through 2 1/3.
This didn't look like he wanted to give Goldie too much to hit that at bat. As you said, kind of spraying it all around the strike zone, but nothing close enough to get Goldie to offer.
Most extra base hits in the majors this year. A.J. Pollock. A home run, 7 doubles and a triple. He trails only former D-back great Didi Gregorius in New York. Boy, the Red Sox took it to the Yankees at Fenway.
Boy, did
today.
they ever. Last time I saw it was 14-1. Alex Cora cleared the bench, brought all of his extra guys into the game to get some playing time.
That had been a highly anticipated series, the first Yankees trip to Boston with Judge and Stanton in the lineup together. But boy, the Red Sox just opened up a can. Belt holding Goldie on the bag at first. Yeah, Mookie Betts had a grand slam in that game for the Red Sox. Aaron Judge hit a home run to center field at Fenway Park off Chris Sale as Kurt Young pays a mound visit here. Judge exit velocity 116 miles an hour, 444 feet. Beatty is really struggling here. He's walked 4, 29 balls and 25 strikes.
Might be able to get away with that against some aggressive hacking teams, but as we talked about with the Diamondbacks, they're very patient at bats this year. They want to make sure they get a good pitch to hit if they let that bat go. And if you don't throw them a strike, they're willing to take their walk and set it up for the next guy.
He walked Marte in the first. He scored on the Pollock double. Beatty walked 2 in the second. He was full on Marte 3-2 before he flied out. Goldie walked, now behind on Pollock 2-0. Second mound visit for the Giants. Good visit.
Yeah, believe it or not, advanced scouts keep close track of the first pitch that's thrown after a visit to the mound. Some pitching coaches historically will go to the mound and say, hey, challenge with your fastball. Get back on your fastball. And opposing teams look fastball first pitch. Other times a pitching coach will make a visit to the mound, tell the guy, don't forget your secondary pitches. All that is recorded by the advanced scouts just to give you some kind of an edge moving forward.
2-2.
A.J. Pollock, his first at bat of this game, doubled in 2 runs and then promptly stole third base. A.J. now has 3 steals of third. That's more than the White Sox, the Indians, the Rays, all with 2. There's 12 teams with 1, and there's 14 teams that have yet to steal third base. A.J.'s leading the world in steals of third.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks, since Torrey has been here, have been very aggressive about that. Going second to third, picking up an extra 90 feet. Dave McKay coaching in first.
It really does take the guts of a burglar to steal third base, however. When you're running from first to second, that's a long throw for the catcher, and you feel like you're running away from the ball when you're going from first to second. When you're going from second to third, it's like you're running right into the throw.
Ooh, that one right into A.J. Pollock. So he's walked 4 and hit a batter now. 2 on, 1 out for Alex Avila.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball. He just tried to overthrow right there. Never took the break. Caught A.J. on the back of that left arm. Hopefully no damage done.
Avila was rung up on a ball that Paul Nart called a strike his first time up. Giants will put the shift on. Crawford moves to the first base side as second. Longoria the only defender on the left side. 2 on and 1 out for the D-backs catcher. Nationwide Vision Centers, eye on the game. There's Crawford right behind second base umpire Carlos Torres. Avila down quickly 0-2. Alex last year 264, 14 home runs with the Tigers and the Cubs. Signed a 2-year free agent deal with the D-backs in January. 9 seasons in the big leagues. He's hit double-digit homers 4 times, including last year. Fastball up, and it's 1-2. Goldie at second and A.J. at first. That's the first ball that Alex Avila has seen tonight. 60 pitches for Beatty, only 29 strikes. And he goes down for the second time tonight. The second strikeout for Beatty, 2 outs.
Good change up that time. We mentioned that Beatty had struggled to find the zone with it. That time started on the inner third of the plate, bottomed out right down the middle.
Bruce Owings, a first pitch swinger his last time up against Beatty, flied out to right to win the first. Fastball in, catches the seam, and it's 0-1. Chris flied out to deep center field in his only at bat against the Rockies on opening day. And since then, he's hit safely in every game he's played, a 9-game hitting streak. Two on and 2 out. Breaking ball is in there. Front door it, it's 0-2. Beatty's had traffic around him on the bases all night long, trying to keep it a 2-0 deficit for the Giants here. Beatty really working a 23-pitch first. 19 in the second. He got a double play ball behind him. 22 pitches here in the third. Fastball sailed on him. It's 1-2.
The Giants defensively across the outfield playing very shallow all the way across, especially Austin Jackson out there in center field. We know CO's got enough pop to drive one in that gap or over the heads of those outfielders. Really playing shallow.
Almost hit another batter.
That's that changeup again. Just can't consistently find the edges of the zone with it.
Daniel Descalso walked his first time. I want to welcome all of you who just joined us on Fox Sports Arizona from the Suns game. D-backs in San Francisco with a 2-0 lead. Owings up there here in the third. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. This is right-hander Tyler Beatty, his major league debut. AJ had the big hit, that 2-run double in the first inning.
We saw AJ right there trying to get some of the dirt out of his cleats on the corner of first base. A little damp out there.
Full count, 3-2. He's walked one and hit a batter in this inning already.
CO trying to pull a Goldie here. From 0-2 to 3-2.
That's our stat. We invented that.
Some of the new analytics that we work with.
Yeah. We're very advanced up here. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here it is. Here go the runners. Called strike 3. Inside. Beatty gets the call in his third strikeout. He strands 2. It's still 2-0 D-backs. Nothing lead. Built for baseball, presented by T-Mobile, the best network for streaming baseball, because your stadium should be where you make it. Patrick Corbin at it again. He's already got 5 strikeouts through 2 innings.
Watch the bunt.
Kelby Tomlinson leads off the Giant third.
Kelby Tomlinson put down a perfect push bunt against the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw the other day. Kike Hernandez was playing first base and pushed it to the right side, got it out there in that triangle where nobody knew who was going to pick up the ball and who was going to cover the bag, and he beat it out for a hit.
Tomlinson 3 hits and 9 at-bats this year, all singles. Only his second start this season. There's the slow slider. Corbin drops it in, backdoor upstairs, and it's 1-2. Patrick gave up a leadoff single to Austin Jackson. And since then, he struck out 5 of 6 he's faced. Make it 6 of 7. 6 strikeouts for Corbin, 1 down here in the third.
Keep going back to that 2013 season when Patrick Corbin made the All-Star team, and Todd Helton said that's the best slider I've seen since Randy Johnson. Patrick's very close to getting back to being that guy.
The only difference this year is mixing up the velocity on that slider, changing location and shape on the pitch. Here's the pitcher, Beatty. Fastball off the plate, 1-0.
12 hard sliders in this game for Patrick Corbin. The Giants have swung at 7 of it and missed 6 times.
Patrick's slower slider uses that same arm movement as his hard slider, so the release looks the same to the hitter. And now they have a more difficult time preparing for that traditional hard back foot slider because the slower one acts like a curveball, and really done a good job with it, keeping guys off balance. Throws it a lot early in at-bats. Steal strikes, gets ahead in counts, and then comes back with the big weapon, that hard slider down as a put-away pitch. There's the slow one, and it catches the strike zone. 7 strikeouts through 2 2/3 for Corbin.
Hey fans, a day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
He's retired 8 straight since the Jackson single that started the ball game, and here he is with 2 outs in the third. Jackson in center field tonight. Last year with Cleveland, Jackson hit over .350 versus left-hand pitchers. But Corbin's ahead 0-2. No Torey Lovullo for this ball game, suspended by Major League Baseball for tonight. After what happened in St. Louis over the weekend, Torey is somewhere in a suite with some of the D-backs front office staffers watching this one, eating garlic fries. Bench coach Jerry Narron is running the game from the dugout. Robbie Hammock on the right there, serving as Jerry's bench coach. Jerry managed 5 years in the big league, so he's got everything in good hands. Torey can just sit back and relax. Watch Patrick Corbin striking out a whole bunch of Giants. There's bounce to third for Descalso. Patrick Corbin's got it rolling. He's retired 9 straight. He holds a 2-0 lead. in San Francisco. D-backs Kids Club, presented by Denzeisen Dairy. It's a free program for kids 15 and younger. Kids earn prizes for each game they attend, including tickets to Sunday home games, concessions, merchandise, and a whole lot more. Get all your information online, dbacks.com/kidsclub. It's a great program the Diamondbacks have for the youngsters. Get them out to the ballpark. Giants have the shift on for Descalso. Sends this one the other way. It backs up Pence in left field. He got a late break. One down to start the fourth. That one carried almost over his head out there.
Yeah, Daniel gave that ball a ride. The wind, the flag's in center field, blowing pretty much straight out. The flag's in right center, kind of blowing toward right field. So there's some wind up there if you get it up high enough in the air to take advantage.
Nick Ahmed grounded into a double play his first time against rookie Tyler Beede, making his major league debut tonight. Last Giants pitcher to win his major league debut, Ryan Sadowski. Yeah, who? He worked 6 scoreless at Milwaukee in June of 2009. In his next start, Sadowski pitched 7 shutout innings. He beat Houston and never won another major league game.
Wow, that's not Clint Sadowski, right? The big. This is Ryan Sadowski.
This is
Ryan. We're talking about.
Ahmed yanks one foul.
Clint Sadowski, former Diamondback great.
Ryan Sadowski, 2009, the only year he ever appeared in the major leagues. He went 2-4 in 6 starts for the Giants that year. Pitched 3 years in Korea, and then that was it. And with Johnny Cueto going on the DL before the game today, he's got an ankle problem. The Giants will have rookies making their major league debuts in back-to-back games. Tyler Beede tonight and lefty Andrew Suarez tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, back-to-back major league debuts, not really as rare as you might think. It happened twice last year.
Really?
Antonio Senzatella and Kyle Freeland pitched back-to-back games for the Rockies in April, and then Rookie Davis and Amir Garrett for the Reds did the same thing in April last year.
I remember the Reds had a whole bunch of rookie pitchers last year work for them. Rockies with that young rotation.
Oh, they were both on the same day, as a matter of fact. Coincidentally.
Not ironically. Nice. 2-2 to Nick Ahmed. Beede already at 75 pitches.
Try that changeup again.
Hasn't worked yet. Lifted in the air, center field for Jackson. Well, Beede is now set down 4 in a row, and here's the pitcher Patrick Corbin. If you take the numbers from Patrick's first 2 starts this year and the first 3 innings tonight, this season he has now struck out 27 batters in 16 innings. It's a pretty good start. He's got 7 strikeouts tonight.
Oh, they gave away the Cy Young Award in the middle of April. Patrick Corbin's your guy.
That's right. Speaking of good pitching, there was some very exciting news regarding tomorrow's game. Would you like to share it with the folks at home?
Well, the guys pitching in the ball game are the guys you want to watch. The guy throwing out the ceremonial first pitch, you don't want anything to do with that.
As always, there was a receiving line in our booth when we're in San Francisco. People stop by and pay their respects, and you were asked to throw out the first pitch in tomorrow's game.
Yeah, the Giants are celebrating their 60th anniversary on the West Coast, and they try to have as many former Giants that happen to be in the vicinity come out and throw out a first pitch, and I got invited to do that tomorrow.
Big celebrities. So we're going to try and mic you up for that or do something. Hire a film crew, document the whole thing. 2-2 on Corbin. That one misses low. He walked Corbin the first time. Beede tonight has walked 4 and hit a batter. Gerard Dyson on deck. He's walked Corbin twice. 5 bases on balls issued by Beede.
We know Patrick is a good hitter, but generally Any manager would love it if your pitcher can just see enough pitches to draw a base on balls. And with 2 outs in the inning, Patrick extends this inning, rolls around to the top, keep the pressure on the youngster out there on the mound.
Gerard Dyson in left field batting leadoff tonight. He's 0 for 2. Can we get you a D-backs jersey, something you can wear out there? That probably wouldn't be in really good form.
Well, I'm going to have on D-backs gear because I have to go straight from my first pitch duties up here.
You have your responsibilities.
Yes, I don't have time to change clothes.
That's just what I'm saying. Bullpen will get busy for the Giants. Beatty trying to get out of the 4th. Reyes Moran to the hard thrower. This guy throws 100. He started to get loose down there. Beatty at 84 pitches, only half of them strikes. He's walked 5 and hit a batter. The 2-0 to Dyson. That one will drop in front of Jackson. Gerard Dyson. A walk and a single, both with 2 down, bring up Ketel Marte. You know, for as much as Beatty has struggled, and here comes the pitching coach Kurt Young again, it's still only 2-0. You'd like to really take advantage of this situation if you can.
As badly as he struggled with his command, he's only given up 3 base hits in the ball game. The Goldie single, the Pollock double back in the first, the only real damage so far.
And here's I guess you'd anticipate a storyline like this with a youngster in his big league debut. They've already used up half their mound visits, the Giants, so that might be something to think about later in the ballgame. Trying to get him through this. Marte has walked, scored a run. He flied out his last time up. Corbin at second and Dyson at first. 2 outs. Knocks it to third. Longoria picks it up, steps on the bag for the force on Corbin, and Beatty wiggles off the hook. It stays 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Giants 2-0. Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. On this day in 1989, Dave Stieb of the Toronto Blue Jays pitches his 3rd one-hitter in a span of 4 starts. it's even better than it sounds. If you take it back to the last 3 starts of the '88 season, he went 9 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs against Cleveland. Came back against the Indians next start, 9 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Against Baltimore in his final start of '88, 9 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Kansas City really banged him around in his first start of '89. He went 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run, and then followed that up with the start against the Yankees, 9 innings, 1 hit, no runs. A total 5 starts, 44 innings, 11 hits, and 1 run.
Having grown up in Boston in the 1980s in the same division with the Blue Jays, I can tell you Dave Stieb, one of the truly underrated pitchers of that decade.
The best stuff of any pitcher I ever caught. Now, there were some pitchers that, you know, had the total package, or they had one pitch that was better than anything else, but Dave Stieb's total package was as good as anybody I ever caught.
You saw the numbers there on the D-back starters so far this year. They've been outstanding. Patrick Corbin gave up a leadoff single to Austin Jackson. Since then, he's retired all 9 he's faced. He's got 7 strikeouts. He struck out Brandon Belt his first time up tonight. D-backs have the shift on. And Patrick is ahead quickly 0-2. 16 innings of work so far this year for Patrick Corbin. He's got 27 strikeouts. Belt struck out all 4 times he was up last night. He's already punched out once tonight.
Well, Dave Stieb was one of the guys that encouraged me to start playing guitar when I was with the Blue Jays in '89.
So we have him to thank.
Yeah.
I
had a lot of time on my hands since I wasn't playing very often, and Dave Stieb pitched once every 5 days, so I'd sit around the clubhouse and listen to him playing his guitar, and I'd say, geez, if he can figure this out, I can figure this out.
Well, it's a work in progress.
Work in progress.
Like Tyler Beatty's changeup. 2-2. Now you can jam. I've seen you.
Yeah, coming up on 30 years of banging away at the same 3 chords.
That guitar makes it on every road trip.
Yes, it does.
Full count on Brandon Belt, 3-2 with McCutcheon on deck. Belt 9 strikeouts in his last 16 at bats. Just did get a piece of that one. Tricky play. Corbin's on it. Really well done by Patrick there. There's the basketball player in him coming through there.
Yeah, I was just going to say the athletic ability, playing more than one sport. I mean, some pitchers that only ever played baseball and only ever pitched wouldn't make this play. But Patrick's a great athlete. He calls off Alex Avila, fires on to Goldie, and plenty of time to get the out on Brandon Belt. Nice play.
And you also have to avoid the runner there to make the throw. It's got to be quick and perfect. And it was. 10 straight set down by Corbin. McCutcheon struck out his first time up.
As you might have guessed from the way I described that play, I'm a big proponent of youngsters playing as many sports as they possibly can. Be physical, be active. Things you learn in one sport may really benefit you in another sport.
All the summer programs, kids playing one sport year round, just not a great thing. I remember your stories about high school football in Coshocton. Ahmed at shortstop.
Yeah, for you youngsters out there, I wouldn't recommend playing football for Coshocton High School in the 70s. That was a dangerous, dangerous thing to do.
Was it the extra point or was it a field goal that they tried?
It was an extra point.
Extra point.
Yeah, we had never kicked an extra point in school history.
Still haven't.
Yeah, well, they have since then, but yeah, I told the story many times. I was the holder. Everybody was so anxious to watch a kicked extra point that when they hiked the ball, the entire offensive line turned around to watch.
And that didn't work out too well.
No, one of the defenders kicked the ball back to midfield before I had a chance to even get it on the ground.
Buster Posey struck out to win the first.
Well, you know, at some point this Giants offense is going to wake up and they're going to start driving the ball and scoring some runs. But for right now, if you can work your way around this guy, you got a pretty good chance of working your way through this lineup. They're just not swinging the bats well, overly aggressive up and down this Giants lineup. Just got to keep an eye on Buster Posey.
50 pitches, 33 strikes for Corbin. No walks, he struck out 7. There's that slow slider up top of the zone. 2-2 on Buster Posey. Yeah, the Giants, Bruce Bochy says the offense just got to get this thing clicking. They've gotten shut down a little bit more than they should have, he believes. Descalso, it's under the glove and into left. The second base runner for the Giants today. That's a base hit for Posey. Ends a stretch of 11 straight retired by Corbin, and the batter is Evan Longoria. Longoria grounded out his first time, swung at the first pitch. Corbin reaches out and snags it and strands the 2-out single. He's through 4 with a 2-0 lead in San Francisco.
Free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
In his major league debut, Tyler Beede goes only 4 innings. And the hard-throwing right-hander Reyes Moranta is on for the Giants to start the 5th. This guy averages 98 miles an hour with his fastball, and he will hit triple digits. Goldie leads off the D-backs 5th.
Nearly as many walks as strikeouts for the short, stocky right-hander.
Stocky, he is Sandoval-esque.
Yes, he is.
In his build. But then again, aren't we all? Starts him off with a very slow pitch at 83. Goldie has singled, scored a run in the 1st. He walked his last time.
Goldie's still looking for his first 2-hit game of the season. Of course, he's walked a boatload.
Among the major league leaders.
Yeah, 11 total with the one he had back in the 3rd inning tonight. He's had a couple of 3-walk games, a 2-walk game. He gets one almost every game.
Chip it away. He's hit safely in 4 of his last 5. Counting tonight. Hard fastball down and in for Moranta. 1-2 strikes. Goldschmidt, Pollock, Avila 3, 4, and 5 here in the Arizona fifth. Diamondbacks are third in the majors in bases on balls. They had 46 going into the game tonight. Beatty walked 5 in 4 innings,
including Patrick Corbin twice.
Ouch. Walked 5 and hit a batter, Tyler Beatty. That one misses below the knees, and Goldie's worked at full 3 and 2. A little bit of a quick pitch there from Moranta. Goldie pops it up first base side. It is way up there, and it hangs up for Brandon Belt. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game so far. A.J. Pollock, a 2-run double in the first. All the scoring so far.
We talked last half inning about Buster Posey being the guy in this Giants lineup you don't want to let beat you. Right now, A.J. Pollock is that guy for the Diamondbacks. He is swinging a hot bat in the early going.
He has hit safely in 9 of 11 games to begin the year. Already with 9 RBIs. A.J., this is game number 11, mind you, has a home run, 7 doubles, and a triple so far this year. Drove in what turned out to be the winning run with an RBI sac fly last night in the first inning. Moranta really trying to keep the ball down. Reyes Moranta made his major league debut last September. Look out. Well, that was only at 83.
Just a slider that backed up. No intent there, I'm sure, but doesn't make it any less scary for A.J. Pollock to see that pitch coming right at your ear hole in the helmet.
Yeah, it was way out there. He went. Scott Barry at first. It's 2 and 2.
Didn't look like it with the naked eye, but I guess he did get it out there far enough.
Short right center. Jackson coming in. 2 outs. Alex Avila now. Alex has struck out twice tonight. Off to a 2 for 20 start to the year. Giants will put the shift on. Crawford walking over from shortstop to the first base side of second, and Tomlinson backs up at second. Well onto the outfield grounds. Jackson shaded over toward left center for Alex. Here's a look at the Giants defense. Left side of the infield wide open. He hits it deep left field. Hunter Pence backing up at the track at the wall, and he's got it. Moranta comes in a 1-2-3 fifth. It's 2-0 D-backs. at the bottom of the 5th inning. D-backs fans, you can stream live D-backs games on any of your mobile devices with Fox Sports Go. It's presented by T-Mobile. Download the app for free. Take Fox Sports Arizona and the D-backs with you wherever you go. Hunter Pence leads it off for the Giants. He struck out his first time up. Patrick so far 4 scoreless innings. He's given up only 2 hits, both singles. No walks. He's got 7 strikeouts. This is bounced over the mound. Ahmed charges. Tricky play for Nick, and he makes it. They retire Pence to start the 5th.
Well, he makes that play as well as anybody in baseball. Watch how quickly the ball is into and out of his glove. No wasted steps whatsoever. Occasionally an awkward looking throw, but Nick always gets a lot on it just in time to get Pence at first base. Nice play.
Back-to-back 1-pitch outs. Longoria grounded out on the first pitch to win the 4th, and now Pence to open up the 5th. Patrick's had that ground ball working tonight. Here's Crawford, who struck out his first time.
Well, the 13 outs Patrick Corbin has recorded here tonight. 7 strikeouts, 6 ground ball outs.
He has so many strikeouts over the course of his career, and especially this season, you forget how good he was at getting ground ball outs last year. Yep. Only 5 pitchers in baseball last year had more ground ball outs than Patrick Corbin.
I mean, this is a ballpark where pitchers will tell you it's a fair ballpark because there are areas you can pitch to. That Triples alley out there in right center field is very deep in left center field. But if you keep it on the ground, it doesn't matter.
No one's ever hit a ground ball that left the yard, at least not yet. That's why everybody's so concerned about launch angle. There's a good look from our director Brian Moss, AT&T Park here in San Francisco. Crawford goes down swinging. That's 8 strikeouts for Corbin. Second time tonight he's got Crawford. 2 down now for Kelby Tomlinson. Bullpen busy again for the Giants. Josh Osich, the left-hander. Tomlinson a strikeout picked in his first time. You mentioned the bunt with Tomlinson, Bob. There it is, first pitch.
That's a big part of his game, and knowing that the Giants are going to pinch hit for the pitcher spot behind him makes the bunt even more likely in this situation.
Here's another look at Nick Ahmed.
Watch how quickly he gets rid of this ball. He starts from way back there with his heels on the grass, covers all that ground, and the ball wasn't even in his possession for a full second. 7/10 of a second into and out of his glove.
I've always maintained that he throws the ball with that quick release, just like Dan Marino. It reminds me of Dan Marino. The way Marino would drop back and then it was out of his hand. There's a slider at the knees. 1-2. I'm sure as a Massachusetts native, he'd prefer Tom Brady, understandably. But we'll accept either answer. That one's a little low. 2-2 on Tomlinson. Pitcher spot is up next for the Giants, and Gorkys Hernandez is in the on-deck circle with Osich warming up in the bullpen. There it is. That's 9 strikeouts for Corbin. We're through 5. It's 2-0 D-backs.
here tonight. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Right-hander Reyes Moranza back out there for his second inning of work. Chris Owings leads off the D-back 6th. He's 0 for 2. Chris with a 9-game hitting streak on the line tonight. Had a base hit last night. He was 1 for 4. (0-2), 95 for Moranza. Patrick Corbin throwing another gem if you're just joining us. He's given up only 2 hits, both singles. He's got 9 strikeouts through 5 innings. Owings goes down swinging to start the 6th.
Now the Diamondbacks have seen enough of that quick pitch from Moranza. They should be better prepared for it. Get ready a little bit earlier just in case he decides to ambush you with that quick pitch. That time a slider off the plate low and away.
He did that to Goldie in the last inning, got him to pop up to first. Descalso has walked and lined out. 0 for 1. In there at third base tonight. Giants with 3 infielders on the right-hand side. 97 misses down. It's 1-0. D-backs 8-2 in their last 10 against the Giants dating back to last year. They have matched their best ever start to a season at 8-2 through their first 10 games. Last time the Diamondbacks did that was 10 years ago. That team also went 9-2. And with a win tonight, the Diamondbacks can clinch a series win. That would be 4 straight series wins to begin a season for the first time in team history. Jerry Narin, the bench coach, running the ball club tonight with Torey Lovullo suspended. After the weekend brouhaha in St. Louis, Yadier Molina also suspended 1 game. Yadi is appealing. Managers cannot appeal suspensions. So Torey is in a suite watching this one, eating some garlic fries with Amiel Sade and some other folks.
A lot of blame to go around in that situation in St. Louis, but I don't think Torey's the one that sparked the bench clearing.
Absolutely no doubt about that. But that's what he's been suspended for as Descalso strikes out. Got in touch with Joe Torre today from Major League Baseball, and that was the verdict, that Torre came out, and because of his actions, eventually the bench is empty. Now we know some stuff happened between Torre walking out onto the field and the bench is empty. But Torre's been pretty frank about regretting the language that he used and regretting the whole thing. And he said at one point he was standing there and everybody was running around and the bullpens were emptied and the bench is emptied, and he thought, oh my goodness, I started all of this. Didn't really mean to. He just went out there to stand up for his players. And Molina charged him and off we went. But the player, under the collective bargaining agreement, has an appeal process. The manager does not. Torre will be back in the dugout tomorrow afternoon at 12:45 first pitch here. Robbie Ray gets the baseball for the Diamondbacks. And a rookie left-hander Andrew Suarez goes for the Giants. He'll be making his major league debut like Tyler Beede did tonight. Beede went only 4 innings, gave up 2 runs, 3 hits. He walked 5. So Ray and Suarez tomorrow. Diamondback Live pregame show starts at 12 o'clock, high noon. And there's the walk to Nick Allen. Johnny Cueto was supposed to start tonight, and then he was supposed to start tomorrow. But finally he went on the DL. He's got a little bit of a left ankle problem. tweaked it in his last appearance. No big deal, they say, but they're not taking any chances. Patrick walked twice against Beatty.
This game's starting to feel an awful lot like last night's ball game when the Diamondbacks scored 2 runs in the first inning, and good pitching by Godley, Hirano, and Bradley made it stand up. Tonight, 2 runs in the first. So far, Patrick Corbin has made it stand up.
Godley 9 strikeouts last night. Patrick has matched that total tonight through 5 innings. Paul Nart, he's got that east-west thing going like Kerwin Danley had last night. That strike zone gets a little wider as the night moves on. And Moranta, another one off the plate, but it's strike 3. Bottom 6 coming up, 2-0 Diamondbacks.
Hitting coach Dave Magadan about all the switching with the pitching as far as the Giants go, and Andrew Suarez was just named the starter for tomorrow at that point in the afternoon. And of course, Magadan said, the day game tomorrow, I've just got finished looking at Cueto. So yes, we'll be working on it. And then later I asked Troy Lavello about facing the 2 rookies and a little bit about Suarez. He said, yeah, Mags joked with me. You got some free time tonight. Why don't you start scouting Suarez? And of course, Torrey said, that's not my job. So he was joking. Obviously, he will not be doing any of that. But they will be working on it, guys, obviously, with the day game tomorrow. And that is the job of the hitting coach and his staff.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a rush job here with all the changes, Jody, the Giants have had in their rotation for this series. Gorkys Hernandez will hit for the pitcher Moranta to lead off the home half of the 6th inning. Patrick Corbin so far 5 scoreless. He's given up only 2 hits, both singles, and he's got 9 strikeouts. So Patrick has recorded at least 8 strikeouts in each of his first 3 starts this year. First time in his career he's done that. Struck out at least 8 in 3 consecutive starts. And he keeps getting on these lists with RJ and Kurt Schilling. Patrick is now one of 3 pitchers in D-backs history to begin a season with 3 or more games of 8 or more strikeouts, joining RJ and Schilling.
Good company.
Every time we have a Corbin pitching stat this year, he joins Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling and blah, blah, blah. Look out! Gorkys Hernandez right back up the box, a leadoff single. Just the 3rd hit for the Giants. Well, Zach Godley had a similar ball hit right back up the box last night. That was a little too close for comfort. Austin Jackson, one of the 3 Giant hits, 1 for 2. Jackson, historically a guy who hits left-handers pretty well. There's that slow slider. Likes to throw that very early in counts, often steal strike 1 with it like he just did there. And then he can come back with that harder slider to the back foot against the right-hand batter, spot the fastball down and away. Oftentimes you'll see Patrick throw that slower slider early and then use that hard slider as the put-away pitch. 16 of 19 first pitch strikes. Jackson last year in Cleveland, 85 games with the Indians. He hit .318, 7 homers. A guy that can play all 3 outfield spots. 8 seasons in the big leagues. The Tigers, the Mariners, the Cubs, the White Sox in the Tribe. Got a 2-year deal here in San Francisco. Giants really wanted to improve their outfield defense, so you've got Jackson and McCutchen now. Their outfield defense last year was just horrific. Down and away, 1-2 on Austin Jackson. Brandon Belt on deck.
Brandon Belt kind of sneaking up as close to home plate as he can get in that on-deck circle, trying to get an angle on Patrick Corbin's delivery, maybe help him in his next at-bat in this ball game.
Giants with 13 swings and misses so far. Hernandez takes off. The throw from Avila is not in time. Stolen base for Gorkys Hernandez, and a 2-2 count on Austin Jackson.
Pretty good jump over there by Gorkys Hernandez. Strong throw from Avila, and a nice job by Ketel Marte. Just keeps the tag on Hernandez just in case the foot comes off that bag or the finger comes off the base.
70 pitches for Corbin, 47 strikes. 2-2 on Jackson. Slider missed it. It's full 3-2. Giants the lowest batting average in baseball this year with runners in scoring position. Shortstop smothers that one, long throw, and they can't quite get Jackson, who still runs well. What a play by Nick Ahmed, just to keep that in the infield. Hernandez had to stay put at second base.
Yeah, as infielders, you remind yourself with a runner at second base to dive at anything, knock it down, try to keep the ball on the infield. If this one rolls through with that thick outfield grass here at AT&T Park, pretty good chance that Gorkys Hernandez scores from second base, but Nick Ahmed with that diving stop kept the ball in the infield. Hernandez had to go back to second.
So the first real Giant threat tonight. 2 on, no outs for Belt, who's 0 for 2. He has struck out and grounded out. D-backs have the shift on. Ahmed on the first base side is second. Dumps one into left. They'll stop Hernandez at third, and the bases are full of Giants with nobody out. And McCutchen on his way up. Mound visit time for the Diamondbacks. Here comes Mike Butcher.
Probably time for some bullpen activity. I mean, Patrick has been so dominant through the first 5 innings of this ball game, and now 3 hits in a row for the Giants. Granted, one of those an infield hit, that nice play by Nick Ahmed, but Butch wants to make a trip to the mound right here, try to limit the damage here. Bases loaded, nobody out. This is one of those situations where maybe you concede a run and hope to get out of the inning with only 1 scoring.
Well, McCutchen has struck out, grounded out tonight. He's 0 for 2. A .263 career hitter with the bases loaded. Yorkis Hernandez is at third. Austin Jackson is the tying run at second. Belt the go-ahead run at first, and nobody out. McCutchen, the hitter, with Posey on deck. Corbin in a real jam here, leading 2-0. Back to the slider. Bullpen still quiet for the Diamondbacks. 75 pitches for Patrick, 50 strikes. The wind that was blowing out to right center field has died down. The flags are pretty still out there. 1-1 on Andrew McCutchen. Well, you get a strikeout and ground ball here. Good night, Irene. Posey on deck, 1-2 on the Giants right fielder. Patrick had retired 15 of the last 16 he'd faced, but the Giants open up this inning with 3 straight singles. Avila keeps everybody where they are. 2-2.
Nice stop by Alex. That ball got near the back foot of Andrew McCutchen over there. Actually hit between his feet. I don't know how that missed the back leg, but somehow it hit the dirt, bounced over that right foot, and Avila right there to block it.
High in the air, headed for foul ground, left side. It's in the first row. A nice catch there by a fan. It stays 2-2 on McCutchen. Ahmed giving chase, but the tarpaulin obtrudes. Got the fastball that time from Patrick. It's still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, first fastball in the sequence so far as Fernando Salas heads down to that right field bullpen to begin throwing.
Salas was warming up for a while last night. You've got 2 guys coming up behind McCutchen, Posey and Longoria, who both hit into a lot of double plays. If you can get McCutchen here without any real damage, you've got a good chance to get out of the whole inning. Patrick now with 80 pitches. Missed inside with a fastball, and it's full 3-2. Ninth pitch of the at-bat to Andrew McCutchen coming up. Bases loaded, nobody out. In a run. Giants on the board. It's 2-1 D-backs as Hernandez trots home. First base on balls issued by Corbin tonight. A long at bat there. A long battle with McCutchen.
Yeah, 9 pitches. The first 5 were all sliders, one after another. Some in the strike zone, some toward the back foot. Only on pitch number 6 did he throw the first fastball. That was fouled off to the right side. Came back with another slider. He's able to foul that off. Missed inside with a fastball and then misses inside with that final slider.
Posey has struck out and singled 1 for 2. Fastball just off the plate. It's 1-0. Fly ball backs up Owings in right field. He's on the track. Jackson at third will come home, and we're tied at 2 as Belt moves into third. The RBI for Posey.
Well, you mentioned it just a few moments ago, partner. That wind that had been blowing out hard to right center throughout the early part of the ball game has really died down. Good thing, because Buster gave that one a ride all the way out to the warning track in right field.
Two ball game, still just 1 out with Belt at third and McCutchen at first. And the batter is Evan Longoria, who has twice grounded out, both times against Corbin. He swung at the first pitch. Hit it again there. Got tied up with a slider. It's 0-1. Boy, Longoria off to a 4 for 34 start to the year. 0 for 3 last night. Patrick already up to 22 pitches in this inning, and he's only got 1 out. Salas continues to warm up in the D-back bullpen.
Looking for that ground ball. Something down in the zone right here. Get Longoria to hit the top half of the baseball. Let your defense turn 2 behind him. Slider.
Almost hit him in the foot that time. 2 balls and 1 strike. Jerry Nairn, the bench coach, running the Diamondbacks tonight with Torey Lovullo suspended following the incident in St. Louis over the weekend. Patrick behind 3-1. Hunter Pence, the on-deck hitter for the Giants. Andrew Chafin joins Fernando Salas in the D-back bullpen. Bases are loaded again. Here comes Jerry Nairn. Patrick Corbin, a sensational start, 5 scoreless innings. He had given up only 2 hits, both singles with 9 strikeouts. But he leaves here in the 6th with the game tied at 2. Back from San Francisco after this. Work Saturday in St. Louis, inherits a real mess here in San Francisco. His 5th appearance of the year after winning a opening day roster spot during spring training when he looked very good. 2 runs are in for the Giants. Hunter Pence, the hitter, bases loaded, only 1 out. Pence has struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2.
First pitch of the bat up in the zone right there to Hunter Pence. Salas is a sinker slider guy. Usually he's really good about keeping the ball down around the knees on the edges of the zone.
Patrick responsible for all 3 base runners. Only 2 walks all night, both in this inning. Fly ball, left field, Dyson at the track. Belt at third. There he comes, and the Giants take a 3-2 lead. Brandon Crawford 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts against Corbin. Three singles against Patrick started off this inning for the Giants. All 3 singles have now scored. Since then, 2 bases on balls and 2 RBI sacrifice flies.
Yeah, the inning started with 3 consecutive base hits, but they scored their runs on a bases loaded walk and 2 sacrifice flies.
McCutchen at second and Longoria at first. Giants started off this inning by pinch hitting for Moranta. Josh Osich, the left-hander, has been down there. He's been standing in the bullpen this entire half inning. He's been ready to go for quite a while down there. He will come on to work the 7th. It'll be Dyson Marte and Goldie top of the order for the D-backs. Little excuse me swing the other way. Crawford shoots it into left. Here comes McCutchen, and he is in there. And Longoria sneaks into third, and they get him at third. But hold on.
Yeah, I got to believe they want to look at that play at the plate.
The throw certainly appeared to beat McCutchen home. Paul Nart says safe. 7-2-6 on the put on of Longoria, but let's take a look at this one.
Boy, the front foot, I'm not sure if it got the plate or whether it popped up when he went into his slide right here. Wow.
I think you have to call for a review on this regardless, don't you? Why not take a, roll the dice and take a shot? Here's a good look.
Nice play by Avila to play that short hop.
That front foot might have got in there if it hit the plate. So they'll put on the headsets and talk to New York. Giants fans have seen the replay on the scoreboard here.
Yeah,
the out is either going to be at home or third.
I was just going to say the Diamondbacks are going to leave the field one way or the other. You hope this is the third out of the inning. They're taking a look at it in New York right now.
Boy, I don't know if that front foot actually touched home plate. Hit the ground and then came back up again. Now it's up over the plate. And it looks like that's when the tag is applied on that knee.
Yeah. Boy, a lot to look at on that play right there. A nice throw by Gerard Dyson out in left field. Even though it was a tough short hop for Avila to handle, he put that throw right on the plate.
Here's a terrific look by our crew.
Yeah, watch the lead foot. Hits the dirt right there, and then it appeared to pop up and go over home plate. Kind of tough to tell with all that dirt flying right there. The tag applied to the back leg as the front foot appears to be over the plate.
I agree. From that angle, he's out.
You know, unfortunately, the call at the plate is safe, so it has to be clear and convincing to overturn that call.
And it's overturned.
Boom.
Take the run off the board. He is out at home. Jerry Narron wins the challenge. And it's 3-2 in San Francisco as we hit the 7th. Here comes Bruce Bochy. T-shirt before the D-backs and Astros game on May the 5th at Chase Field. Get there early, enjoy some salsa tasting, music, food, drinks, the whole thing at the biggest Cinco de Mayo fiesta in town. It's at Chase Field May 5th. Visit dbacks.com. Left-hander Josh Osich is the new Giants pitcher. Borges Hernandez remains in the game. He takes over in left field for Hunter Pence. He'll bat 9th, pitcher spot now 6th for the Giants. And Gerard Dyson leads off the D-backs 7th. That was weird, wild stuff.
It really was. And, you know, once again, a bad slide cost the Giants a run right there. We see it happen all the time. I think that's the one fundamental that has really fallen off the face of the earth. Very few guys know how to slide.
Dyson singled his last time up in there in left field tonight for David Peralta, who gets the day off. 1 for 3. In fact, Dyson's single in the 4th inning is the D-backs' only hit since A.J. Pollock's 2-run double in the 1st. They only have 3 hits tonight. They've drawn 6 bases on balls. Only one of those walks is scored. One and 2 on Dyson. Here's a stat that's going to blow your mind. Our man Bo came up with this one. Giants had 3 hits with runners in scoring position in that inning. They scored on none of them. And for the team that's the worst in the majors in that department, that's really got to hurt.
Salt in the wound right there.
Ketel Marte on deck. Osich will get wild from time to time. He walks a lot of guys. Full count on Dyson, 3-2.
One thing to keep in mind as we move forward in this ball game, Archie Bradley, who got the save in the game last night, has pitched in 7 of the 10 games this season, including 2 in a row. I'm not sure of his availability tonight. I would have to say Archie'd say he's ready to go, but we'll see.
That's something that Torrey discussed with Jerry Narron before the ball game today, who would be available and who would not. Boxberger was down last night. Dyson sends one out to McCutchen in right field, and it's over his head. He knocks it down, however. Dyson breaks for second, and he's in there. Boy, if that got behind McCutchen, it would have at least been 3. He couldn't catch it, but he did knock it down. That's a double for Dyson.
That's the hardest hit ball we've seen off the bat of Gerard Dyson, going back to the beginning of the Cactus League. A rope line drive into right field. You can see where McCutchen is playing over toward the gap in right center. Took a couple steps to his left and then tried to retreat and make that play. Fortunately, hits off the heel of his glove and drops. Dyson hustling all the way, ends up at second base.
He whiffs on that one, and it's see you later, Gerard Dyson.
Off to the races.
In any case, he's the tying run in scoring position. Nobody out for Ketel Marte. Marte turns around, bats right-handed against the left-hander Osich. Where's the bunt? Drops it down foul.
That looked like a bunt base hit attempt that time by Marte. Giants not quite sure what to expect right here. Belt was drawn in at first base, but Longoria was kind of in the middle over there at third. He wasn't sure whether to play in for the bunt or play back in case Marte swings away.
There's a look at the Giants defense. Tying run at second, nobody out in the 7th. That's a fair ball as Marte shoots it down the right field line. Dyson will score to tie it, and Ketel Marte has an RBI double. It's 3-3.
What an answer. What an answer.
It only took 2 batters to get that run back. Marte has now hit safely in 6 straight.
They say baseball's a game all about momentum. The Giants certainly had it after that bottom half of the 6th inning, but the Diamondbacks snatch it right away with back-to-back doubles to start the 7th.
That takes care of Osich. Here comes Corey Guerin. Look at Ketel Marte hustling in there. 2 doubles to right field. The Diamondbacks have come back to tie it up at 3 back after this. Marte start us off for the 7th inning. D-backs have come back to tie the Giants at 3-3, and here from a offseason spent on a deserted island somewhere is the right-hander Corey Guerin to face Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie has singled, walked, he scored a run. Guerin is in the Pedro Baez category of a guy who works deliberately, let's say.
Slow the game down.
He certainly upped his hair game in the offseason. Last year he threw 68 innings, the most of his career. Fastball in, it's 1-1 on Goldie. Goldie singled and scored in the first, he walked in the third.
Guerin was pretty good for the Giants last year, an ERA under 2. He did walk quite a few batters, but didn't give up a lot of hits. Only 50 knocks in 68 innings last season.
That's a look right there. Late time granted by Paul Nard. Long set there by Guerin. He is in no hurry out there.
He has eliminated some of the wobble that he used to have. He used to come up into a set position and kind of wobble back and forth, and then eventually would start leaning into his delivery to home.
Goldie, little squib shot to first. Belt picks it up, call off Guerin as Marte goes into third.
Certainly not what he was looking for, but a very productive out that time by Paul Goldschmidt. Moved the ball to the right side of the field, advancing Marte onto third base, setting it up possibly for A.J. Pollock right here.
Marte, go ahead run 90 feet away. A.J. had the 2-run double down the left field line in the first inning. Giants infield creeping in. He almost threw that one to the backstop. There's a look at the infield coming in even further now for the Giants. A.J. now with 9 RBIs this year. That leads the team. One and two.
Part of Guerin's effectiveness is that short arm delivery. You know, most pitchers really extend their throwing arm out behind their body before getting it up into the throwing position. He just kind of cocks the ball up there on his ear like a catcher throwing to second base. Fastball's in the low 90s, but he's surprised a couple of pretty good fastball hitters.
Still 2-2 on Pollock. Alex Avila on deck. Missed up with a fastball. Full count, 3-2. That's a breaking ball. Big strikeout for Guerin. 2 outs.
I mentioned earlier the advance report, if you went over the Diamondbacks lineup, who's the guy you want to avoid in crucial situations? It's probably A.J. Pollock. With that in mind, Guerin and Buster Posey threw him a slider off the plate there on the 3-2 pitch and got A.J. to chase.
Avila 0 for 3. He has struck out twice. Giants put 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. 2 outs, trying to get Marte the go-ahead run home from third. Andrew Chafin continues to warm up in the Diamondback bullpen. Giants bullpen is quiet. There's the sheriff. Giants fans just love him down there.
Yeah, some associate pitching coaches down there helping him get ready.
Well, Guerin does that thing where he kind of double taps as he's delivering the baseball. Pats that mitt. This is a solid facial hair matchup right here.
And 2 guys that are just in no hurry to do anything. They call Alex Avila slow-mo.
We call Corey Guerin just slow. Fastball by him, and it's 1-2. Well, Guerin came in. After back-to-back doubles, he got Goldie and Pollock. Now ahead of Avila, a ball and 2 strikes. Fastball low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Chris Owings hoping to get a chance. CO 0 for 3. Full count. Dyson started it off with a double. Marte followed with an RBI double to tie the game. Now he's at third with 2 down. Full count on Alex Avila. Ball 4. Owings will get a chance. CO has flied out, struck out twice tonight, 0 for 3. Comes into this one with a 9-game hitting streak. Tony Watson makes his way down to the Giant bullpen. He'll get it cranked up down there, the former Dodger. Two on and 2 outs for Chris. Trying to bunt his way on.
Longoria kind of set him up for that. He was playing extremely deep down there at third base, and as Guerin went up into his set position, Longoria kind of crept in a few more steps, anticipating a possible bunt from CO.
Fastball right there, and it's 0-2. Back to that slider.
You have to believe they're going to throw a steady diet of sliders here to Chris Owings, given his history. In the past, he used to chase a lot of bad pitches off the plate, low and away. Able just to get a piece of that 0-2 slider.
Ketel Marte at third, Alex Avila at first. 2 outs, a run is in.
Another slider away.
Left it up, but Owings a swing and a miss. Guerin strands the go-ahead runs. 3-3 in San Francisco. They have tied the game at 3 here as we start the home half of the 7th inning. Fans, a reminder, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium. That lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details. Fernando Salas back out there for the Diamondbacks. Kelby Tomlinson leads it off for the Giants. Corners are in on the grass for the D-backs, and there's strike one. Tomlinson was up twice against Patrick Corbin, struck out both times. Six hits for the Giants tonight, 5 for the Diamondbacks. And Salas ahead 0-2. Look out down there. There's a bouncer to second for Ketel Marte, and they retire Tomlinson to start the 7th. Gorkys Hernandez hit for the pitcher and got that 3-run Giants 6 started, a single, a stolen base, and a run scored. And then took over in left field for Hunter Pence. Tony Watson going back out to the Giant bullpen now, the left-hander. He'll start warming up again. Hernandez 5 hits in 10 at-bats this year, including a home run. Throws bunt, pulls back, takes ball one. Fastball just off the plate. There's Tony Watson, former Pirate, former Dodger. Got a 2-year deal with the Giants in February. Ground ball right to Ahmed at shortstop. Two ground ball outs for Salas start the 7th. And here's the center fielder, Austin Jackson. Andrew Chafin still loosening up in the D-back bullpen. He's ready down there. They've got the lefty Belt on deck.
Yeah, obviously with Patrick Corbin starting this ball game, Bruce Bochy only had 2 left-handed hitters in his starting lineup. Brandon Belt in the 2-hole and Brandon Crawford down in the 7-hole.
Strike at the knees, 0-1. Jackson has singled twice, stolen a base, and scored a run. 2 for 3. D-backs in the top of the 8th inning will have Descalso, Ahmed in the pitcher spot, due up 7-8-9. That's what Fernando Salas did all through spring training to win himself a job. Just pound the strike zone with all his stuff. He was very effective this spring. Came in, did exactly what the coaches wanted him to do. That one sailed on him. It's 2-2 on Austin Jackson. Brandon Belt on deck. Salas was the winning pitcher in last Monday's marathon game against the Dodgers at Chase Field. He worked 3 innings in that appearance. And he works a 1-2-3-7th here tonight. We hit the 8th, tied at 3. Kid Sunday games at Chase Field. Sunday games are just perfect for the family. And they start at 1:10 p.m. After the game, you can run the bases for PCH. On Sunday, April 22nd, kids can take home the youth bat and ball set. That's courtesy of MLB Play Ball and Chevrolet. Get your tickets at dbacks.com. 8th inning here in San Francisco. New pitcher for the Giants, the left-hander. Give it up for Mr. Tony Watson. He was the winning pitcher in 2 World Series games for the Dodgers last year. He got a 2-year deal to come over to the Giants.
7 punch outs in 4 2/3. He has walked a couple of batters.
Daniel Descalso leads off the D-backs 8th. Tony Watson, 71 appearances last year between Pittsburgh and LA. He had a good year, 7-4, a 3.38 ERA. He saved 10 games. And pitched very well for LA in the World Series against the Astros. That one just below the knees. It's 2-0. Nick Ahmed on deck, then the pitcher spot for the D-backs.
We've seen Daniel Descalso turn it loose in a 3-0 count already a couple of times this year. I got to believe he's taken a strike here, down 3-0, or up 3-0 rather.
Right down the middle.
Yeah, leading off an inning, you're just looking for a way to get on base. The guy hasn't hit the strike zone with the first 3 deliveries. You've got to take until he shows you he can throw a strike. Now all bets are off. A good rip at that 91-mile-an-hour fastball out over the plate.
Daniel walked in the second. He's 0 for 2. 4 for 26 on the year. Grounded to first for Belts. He'll take it himself, one away. That'll bring up Nick Ahmed. Nick walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2. Christian Walker has come out in the on-deck circle to hit for Salas. I like that matchup for the Diamondbacks. Walker with his right-hand power. Watson from the left side. Christian had a couple of pinch hit home runs last year. Fastball away. Ahmed ahead 2-0.
We talked earlier in the ball game about how the Diamondbacks' bottom of the order has been struggling this year. The 6 through 9 hitters not really getting it done with any kind of consistency. And the same thing holds true again tonight. 6 through 9 spots in the Diamondbacks order, 0 for 10 with 5 strikeouts and a double play ball. They have drawn 4 walks. I think you go around baseball and check everybody's lineup 6 through 9. Usually struggles.
That's why they're hitting down there.
That's why they're at the bottom of the order most of the time.
See what Nick gets here on 2-1. Makes the rip, sends it out to McCutcheon in right field. So here's Walker now to hit for Salas. Christian Walker just called up from AAA Reno over the weekend. Andrew Chafin runs back out to the bullpen to get loose. Christian walked as a pinch hitter in his first plate appearance of the year. That was Sunday in St. Louis. This is a guy who Torey Lovullo calls a weapon sitting down there on the bench. An impact bat. He can change the game with one swing. Christian last year in AAA, 32 home runs, a new Reno single season record. He led all of minor league baseball in RBIs and extra base hits. Christian just turned 27 years old a couple of weeks ago.
As we've documented throughout the early part of the season, the Diamondbacks have a very versatile bench, guys that can play multiple positions, but they didn't really have that guy that you could send up there as a pinch hitter and a threat to hit a ball out of the ballpark. Christian Walker is that guy.
Fastball is up. It's 3-1 with Dyson on deck. Dyson has a couple of hits tonight. He singled and doubled and scored a run. 3-1 on Christian Walker. Watson just nibbling around the edges here. 15 pitches and more balls than strikes so far. Got a fastball right over the plate that time. Christian Walker knows his role here. The primary right-hand bat off the bench is that bats are going to be scattered. It's a tough job. It'll be a challenge. There's no doubt about that. And Watson comes back to get the strikeout. He works a 1-2-3 8th inning. Tied at 3 at AT&T Park. Bottom of the 8th inning. Giants will have Brandon Belt, Andrew McCutchen, Buster Posey on the docket here. 2, 3, and 4. The numbers on Chafin this year, his 5th appearance. So you get a lefty and 2 right-hand hitters against Chafin.
And nobody else warming up in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks right now, so you get the feeling this is Andrew Chafin's inning unless he gets in trouble.
Belt singled and scored his last time up, his only hit in the series. He's 1 for 3 tonight. A .223 hitter last year versus left-hand pitching. D-backs have the shift on. He swings at the first pitch and flies to center. 1 pitch, 1 out. McCutchen, a bases loaded walk his last time up. He's 0 for 2. Hunter Strickland, the acting closer for the Giants, with Mark Melanson on the DL, and started warming up down there in the Giant bullpen. That fastball just missed. 1-0. So the Giants right now are without Madison Bumgarner, Jeff Samardzija, Johnny Cueto, and Mark Melancon, their closer, all on the DL. Their top 3 starting pitchers and their closer. They had Tyler Beede, a rookie, going tonight in his major league debut, and they'll have another rookie going tomorrow afternoon. Lefty Andrew Suarez will make his big league debut. He's up against Robbie Ray. Diamondback Live pregame show at noon. 2-1. Cueto sprained his left ankle the other day. He was put on the disabled list today. He was supposed to pitch this game tonight, and then he was going to pitch tomorrow, and now he's not going to pitch for a while. Chafin back even 2-2.
It was pretty smooth sailing for Patrick Corbin through the first 5 innings of this game today, but McCutchen was one Giants hitter that gave him some problems. 18 of Patrick Corbin's 89 pitches were thrown to Andrew McCutchen. 20% of his deliveries to one hitter.
Wow.
Saw 6 in his first at bat, 3 in his second at bat, and 9 in his third at bat when he drew a RBI walk against Patrick in that 6th inning.
3-2. McCutchen aboard for the second time tonight, and now it's Posey. Posey knocked in a run with a deep fly ball his last time up. He singled in the 4th. 1 for 2 tonight. He's got an 8-game hitting streak. McCutchen halfway to second, decides to go back to the bag as Avila picks that one up.
Well, there was a time earlier in his career where you really had to keep an eye on Andrew McCutchen down there at first base. Stole 11 last year, but he's had as many as 33 in a season back when he was playing for the Pirates.
Long discussion there between Alex and Paul Nart, the plate umpire. They got tangled up a bit back there. On the ground and through. McCutchen stops at second. He's the go-ahead run. Second hit tonight for Posey. And here is Evan Longoria.
Longoria's been very aggressive tonight, swinging at the first pitch. Make sure it's a good one.
Pitcher spot behind him. Nick Hundley has come out in the on-deck circle for the Giants. 2 on and 1 out here in the gate. Tied at 3. Fastball at the knees. 0-1. Here's Hundley set to hit for the pitcher Watson. with Strickland warming up in the Giant bullpen. McCutchen is at second and Posey at first. Chafin so far, 12 pitches, only 5 for strikes. Andrew got the call there from Paul Nart. 2-2. Bottom of the strike zone.
That's where you want to be if you're Andrew Chafin, down there at the bottom of the knees. Try to get that ground ball.
Longoria hit into a double play last night. It's full 3-2. Second full count in the inning for Andrew Chafin. Here go the runners on 3-2. Fastball from Chafin. Longoria stays alive.
Alex Avila coming up out of his crouch a little bit, getting ready to throw to third base, and that ball's fouled down into the dirt and up into the stomach.
Ouch.
Marte a couple steps closer to the bag out there at second now. Trying to shorten up the lead of Andrew McCutchen.
7th pitch of the at-bat to Evan Longoria. Keep an eye on 22 back there.
Strike him out, throw him out double play. We haven't had one of those in a while.
I like it. Let's call one of those.
Big pitch in the ball game here. Alex Avila wants to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Had Andrew Chafin step off the back of the mound. Let's start over, go through another set of signs so that everybody knows what's going on.
Here go the runners. Longoria swing and a miss. Here's the throw.
No.
It's off the glove. Here comes McCutchen, and the Giants take the lead. They took the lead on a strikeout, and it's 4-3 San Francisco.
Well, we got half of the strike him out, throw him out. The Diamondbacks decide to go for the trail runner, Buster Posey, obviously much slower than Andrew McCutchen. They got the strikeout. Boy, right there, if Alex Avila could have made contact with Evan Longoria, Diamondbacks would have had the double play they were looking for to get out of the inning. Longoria really fell out over the plate that time, but you have to make contact and you have to throw the ball. No contact that time between Avila and the hitter.
It's a strikeout of Longoria. Stolen base and an error. The error on the catcher Avila makes it 4-3 Giants. And Hundley hits for the pitcher Watson. And with first base open and a left-hander on deck and Brandon Crawford, Hundley gets the free pass. Bullpen still quiet for the Diamondbacks. Crawford singled his last time up, 1 for 3.
That stolen base, obviously huge in the ball game right now. As I mentioned, Alex Avila could have gotten batter interference if he makes contact with Evan Longoria. But watch Ketel Marte at second base. You have to do a better job than this of keeping the ball in the infield when you know you've got a runner going from second to third. It was clear they weren't going to get Buster Posey. That throw was well short and well late. You got to make like a catcher down there, block that ball, make sure it stays in the infield, not try to pick it clean.
Giants have somehow managed to score 4 runs tonight without the benefit of a base hit. A bases loaded walk and 2 sacrifice flies in the 6th inning. And here in the 8th, they score the go-ahead run on a strikeout and a throwing error. 1-2 on Brandon Crawford. Strickland, their closer, is ready in the bullpen. D-backs in the 9th will have the top of the order due up Dyson, Marte, and Goldschmidt. Crawford waves at that one. Avila collects it. And that ends the inning. But San Francisco takes a 4-3 lead. D-backs coming up in the 9th. In summary, Patrick Corbin sensational to start this one. 5 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts. But the Giants put up 3 in the 6th inning. Diamondbacks came back to tie. Now the Giants have taken a lead. And here as we start the 9th is their closer, the right-hander Hunter Strickland. Mark Melanson on the DL right now with a right elbow problem. So here's Strickland, who has worked 5 scoreless innings overall and closed both save opportunities he's had this year.
Strickland was very inconsistent with his command of all of his pitches last year. He has the same agent as John Smoltz, and apparently the agent hooked the 2 of them up this winter. They made some minor tweaks and adjustments to the grip on a couple of his pitches, and reportedly Hunter Strickland has much better command this year.
Gerard Dyson, who has singled, doubled, and scored in his last 2 at-bats, leads it off in the 9th. D-backs looking for a base runner. Strickland generally works with a hard fastball and changeup combo. Changeup comes in there usually right around 90 miles an hour.
That's one of the pitches that John Smoltz told him he needed to work on, to adjust his grip and try to take a little bit more off.
He knew what he was doing, John Smoltz.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
1-2 on Dyson. Marte on deck and Goldie in the hole.
Well, this is a guy who went on to lead it off in a one-run ball game. Gerard Dyson and his speed. 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up behind him. Find a way on there.
Lifts it up, right center. Jackson runs over there. One away in the ninth. Ketel Marte has walked and scored. He's got an RBI double tonight, 1 for 3. After the trip to St. Louis, this is game number 2 in a stretch of 12 straight for the D-backs against the National League West. They are 6-1 so far against their division. One more here tomorrow afternoon, then we go to LA for 3 starting on Friday. Thursday's an off day. There's the stretch. And then it's back home to Chase Field, 3 against these Giants and then 3 against the Padres. Baseball got loose from the stands out there along the right field line. Now we're sent to go again. How do you hit when you get calls like that? Changeup well off the plate, but it's 1-2 on Ketel Marte. Tricky play for Belt. Strickland's got a hustle, and he gets over there in time. A slow bouncer to first. And it was a foot race, Hunter Strickland and Ketel Marte.
He's in smother that ground ball to the right side. Marte knows it's just a foot race between him and the pitcher, and Strickland gets there just about a half a step ahead of Marte.
Well, it's up to Goldie. 2 for 12 in his career versus Hunter Strickland. Goldie singled and scored in the first. He walked in the third. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Mound visit, charge to the Giants there. Two outs in the ninth. It's 1-1. Another quiet night for the Diamondbacks offensively. Only 5 hits. Had 5 hits here last night in their 2-1 win. Goldie gets one in the air. Oh. Fly ball, left field. There it goes, and we're tied. 2 outs in the ninth inning. Goldie's first of the year makes it 4-4.
Oh my!
Right through the Seagulls. And that was launched out of here.
A stunned crowd here at AT&T Park. They were ready to celebrate. Yeah, Goldie put a halt on that quickly.
Paul Goldschmidt, there it goes. Oh, look at that location.
95. Upper thigh, inside part of the plate. Goldie would ask for that pitch in a home run derby.
A.J. Pollock sends one out there. And Gorky Gorky Hernandez makes a tremendous sliding catch. And we'll head to the home half of the 9th inning. Goldie has tied it at 4. Wow. The second time this year already that the Diamondbacks have tied a game up with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th inning. Chris Owings had the 3-run homer against the Dodgers Monday. And here in San Francisco, it's Goldie, a solo shot with 2 outs in the 9th, gets us to the home half, and here's Jorge De La Rosa to face Kelby Tomlinson. Goldie got a fastball right down the middle from Hunter Strickland and just clobbered it out of here to left field. Tomlinson has struck out twice and grounded out. He's 0 for 3. De La Rosa behind 3 balls and no strikes. Hernandez on deck. Okert has started warming up in a Giant bullpen. Three and 1 to Kelby Tomlinson. Winning runs aboard to lead off the home half of the 9th. And here is Gorky Hernandez. If you're just joining us, Torey Lovullo suspended for this ball game tonight by Major League Baseball. A 1-game suspension for Torey after the incident in St. Louis. Bench coach Jerry Narron running things from the dugout. Torey watching from a suite somewhere here in the ballpark, eating garlic fries with Amiel Sadeh.
Pickoff attempt at first base. Not so much to pick off Kelby Tomlinson, but just to see if Gorky Hernandez at the plate would tip off what he was going to do by sliding his hands up the barrel of the bat, showing bunt. That time, no indication of anything.
As always, at this time of the night here in San Francisco, any outfielder looking up at a fly ball will have to deal with hundreds of seagulls circling overhead. That's just about where Goldie hit that ball from Hunter Strickland right there.
Into a ball game and what's his name? Alfred Hitchcock movie broke out.
De La Rosa sporting that bright red glove that's become popular among some of the D-backs relievers. Archie Bradley's had one the last couple times.
Yeah, Archie wears the red one at home, but he had a different glove when he came in the ball game to get the save last night.
Mixing things up. Hernandez bunts it. Goldie's on it. Marte covers. And the Giants get the winning run into scoring position with 1 out. Three-4 on the sacrifice. Here's Austin Jackson, who has singled twice and scored a run, the center fielder.
I mentioned it before. Archie Bradley's pitched in 7 of the 10 games this year, as has Yoshi Hirano, and both have pitched 2 in a row. No sign of either right-hander warming up in the bullpen tonight. Looks like De La Rosa is going to have to roll for a while here.
D-backs were down 4-3, down to their last batter, and Goldie off Hunter Strickland, the 11th game-tying home run with 2 outs in the 9th inning in D-backs history, and the 2nd this season. A jumbo jack, free jumbo jack tomorrow, a Jack in the Box with a purchase of a large drink.
108 miles an hour off the bat of Paul Goldschmidt. That one went an estimated 440 feet.
Some real work to do for Jorge De La Rosa. Two 2-0 on Austin Jackson with Brandon Belt on deck. Winning run at second and 1 out. And now with first base open, the lefty on deck, they'll work to Belt and put Jackson on. Belt singled and scored in that Giants 6th. He's 1 for 4. Flying out on the first pitch against lefty Andrew Chafin to lead off the 8th. Six for 21 career against Jorge De La Rosa. Boy, Jorge really having trouble finding the strike zone. 11 pitches so far, only 3 for strikes. Belt ahead 2-0. Tomlinson, the winning run at second and Jackson at first. With our K zone that we put up there the whole time for you, you'll see the circle where the location of the pitch was. If it's a full circle, that's a strike, says the computer. If it's an open circle, not filled in, it's a ball. That one was full. But it's 3-0 on Belt. Here go the runners. And it's ball 4. The bases are loaded. 3 walks in the inning, 1 intentional by Jorge De La Rosa. And here comes Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, it's been 8 days since De La Rosa's pitched in a ball game. He's showing some signs of rust out there. He's normally a guy that just attacks that strike zone, but just having some trouble scooting it over onto the corners.
Well, let's hope Mike Butcher has the magic formula here. This Diamondback bullpen has been outstanding all season long. A big reason why they've started 8-2 for just the second time in club history. But Jorge has worked himself into a real jam here. Bases loaded, 1 out. The only run that matters is 90 feet away, and McCutchen is the hitter. He's already walked twice tonight.
Diamondbacks will be forced to bring their infield and outfield into a position where if you catch a fly ball right where you're standing in the outfield, you feel like you can throw that runner out at home plate.
You can see how shallow the outfielders are. Infield in on the grass, bases full and 1 out. McCutchen 0 for 2. He has walked twice. And there it is. The Giants win the ball game. McCutchen, who won Saturday's game here against the Dodgers in the 14th inning with a home run, wins it with a walk-off single. And the D-backs lose for just the 3rd time this year, 5-4 the final.
That's a tough one to swallow after the start of Patrick Corbin tonight. The early offense by the Diamondbacks once again, but unfortunately they just could not make it stand up tonight. The Giants refused to go down.
3 hours and 24 minutes. And McCutchen's walk-off wins it for the Giants, even the series at a game apiece. Back with more after this.